FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we're playing here on The Dark. And on the phone tonight, I'm talking with Justin McCain. He's with the band Through Fire. And in fact, this is the first time that I've had a chance to talk to Justin. I had a chance to talk to Justin. I actually met him at a concert a few years back when he was playing with another band. We had a chance to talk to him about that. But this is the first time you and I have hooked up and talked since the last time we've talked on the air. First of all, welcome to The Dark, Justin, and how the hell you doing?
Great, man. Everything is going very well, and life is good. So how about yourself?
It's been good. It's been great. Actually, things are growing around here, and I'm enjoying playing new rock, and I'm really excited about this new project you have called Through Fire, and it really took off in 2016. And for the fans, I guess, listening right now, let's talk about this band and how did Through Fire all come about?
As you mentioned, you and I met. I was in another band before, and just over the years, I kind of just, I've done music. Through Fire was basically born because I was really change, there's a couple guys that were still with me that were in my band, and we just felt like after this record was finished, it was time for a fresh start. Shopped around, had a lot of labels interested, and we ultimately signed with Sumerian because it felt like that was going to be at home. And it was a really good choice. 2016 was incredible. The team at Sumerian's awesome. Our management, FM music management is great. So we're just trying to do our thing and tour as many places as possible, and take it as far as we can.
The cool thing about the band Through Fire, and I mean, for you, it kind of gave you a chance to maybe rediscover yourself again and kind of maybe get that passion back a little bit, didn't it, Justin?
Well, you know what? I've always had an extreme passion for music and the business in general, really. I love to produce albums, write songs, perform on stage. I always just love the business. But in general, when you do something so long, sometimes you kind of lose yourself. And with my previous band, it was like I wasn't sure what direction to go in. Yeah, starting from scratch, it really allowed me as a songwriter to kind of open up the floodgates and really be creative again. And I think that's what was captured on this album, and people are receiving it well.
Well, let's talk about Through Fire a little bit more. Of course, as I mentioned, 2016 really seemed to be the year that you took off. And I was a little bit surprised because if I'm not mistaken, you guys, you're kind of an active rock band. But if I remember reading some stuff, you guys really took off on the metal scene. Am I correct on that?
We fell into that category a little bit. Like on iTunes, for example, we hit number one on the metal charts. But you know what? We also made the ballot for the Grammys. We didn't get the official nomination because Beyonce did. So, it's like, what is rock these days? What is metal? So
right.
I don't like pigeonhole us in any particular category. We're a rock band, so if people want to call that metal or hard rock or whatever it is, it is what it is. So.
Well, the cool thing is, though, that the success you've had in the first song that was out that did very well was Stronger. And talk about that song, I guess, and really what was the meaning behind that song?
I actually wrote that song years ago, and it was kind of twofold. Typically when I write, it's either personal to me, something that I've experienced myself, or something that I'm watching around me, So that particular song was about two different people really going through different struggles. Mainly one person close to me in particular going through a relationship, and just seeing her kind of change and not be herself. For me it was hard to deal with because I cared about this person. And then the other person was it was like a drug story. They were going through an addiction phase. And, so in general, Stronger came about because I felt like, you know what, anyone can make it through anything. They just have to want it, and they have to, create that path for success and be stronger than anything that is standing in front of them, stronger than anything they're facing. And so it was kind of born because of a multitude of situations that I was witnessing in my life at the time.
Very cool. Very cool. We're talking with Justin McCain. He is the guitarist, producer, and songwriter for the band Through Fire. Of course, they're a band out of Omaha, Nebraska, and they're founded in 2015. And Justin, that song did very well. Why do you think that song did so well and got a lot of airplay on the airwaves across America this year, or I guess last year?
Well, I think in general, people connect with the message. People want to feel empowered and feel like they can do something and achieve something they want. So like I said, whether it's me telling a story about something I'm witnessing in my life or someone connecting the song because of something that's going on in their life, the message in general is something that everyone can gravitate towards.
Very cool. And then your next song and your current song right now, Breathe, which is in the top 30 right now in the active rock charts. What's the story behind that song?
Again, it was someone close to me, and they were going through a hard time in life, fighting an addiction, a drug addiction, and for me, just watching people that are close to me struggle with some things, it was really hard. So there's a few songs on the album that kind of reflect that message, and then also, the side of it, hey, I'm here for you. You can take my hand, and I'll help you the best I can, or anyone else for that matter. So, it's another song of explaining the struggle someone's going through, but also trying to have a positive take on it.
All right, very cool. And of course, as a songwriter, you got to draw from somewhere, and it seems like you're drawing from backgrounds of things that you've seen. I guess as a kid growing up in that, what were kind of the influences that you had in your life when it came to, I guess, the music side of things?
Well, no one in my family is very musically inclined, so it wasn't something that I kind of inherited in that way. But my parents, they loved rock music, so they'd always be playing Van Halen albums and AC/DC and stuff like that. And so, I just grew up around that, and I loved it. And I remember when I was real young, maybe 5 to 10 years old, I'd set up, different pots and pans in the basement. When my parents' friends would come over, I'd pretend like I'm performing on stage for them. And so it's something that's always been with me since I was a little kid, since I could remember. So I kind of attribute that to just being around music a lot when I was young.
How about somebody you looked up to? Obviously, you're a guitarist and you're a songwriter, producer. On the guitar side, is there somebody that really you've looked up to kind of to maybe help you along and maybe even mentor you along the way?
Not personally,
okay,
but just in general, watching guys, that I didn't know, like Dimebag, for example.
Yeah.
I was never, in a position to meet him, but he definitely had an impact on my life and inspired what I was doing at the time, which in turn kind of, in a way brought me to where I am today. And other guys, there's so many great rock bands out there that I listened to coming up, and it wasn't, a situation where I was like, that guy can play the fastest, he's the best. For example, I love the Deftones.
Yep.
I can't think of many songs that they have where there's crazy, fast, insane guitar solos, but they were an inspiration to me, just stylistically and the style of riffs they wrote and stuff, So there's a lot of guys that were in the business and a lot of guys that I listened to coming up that definitely inspired me, but no one that I knew personally close to me that kind of mentored me. I was kind of on my own.
Right. How about, with the band Through Fire now, and we're with another band in the past, and it's tough to break into the industry in that. Talk about that, I guess, for a minute. I mean, you had another band. You thought they maybe would have had some success. They had a little bit, but it wasn't a lot. Now you're with a new band. This band is starting to take off and all that kind of stuff. How difficult is it? And I guess the other question would be is, how do you determine success? What in your mind is successful?
Well, I'll start with that. I would say success is determined by happiness. Are you happy with what you do? And I can say wholeheartedly that I am. So
Good.
in that sense, I'm successful. If you want to take it a step further and say, all right, well, how do you obtain financial success, for example? How do you obtain well-rounded success? And that's something that we're definitely on the track towards. This past year was incredible, so we're starting to become a band that can be kind of self-sufficient in a lot of ways and financially stable in a lot of ways. I mean, we're not making huge bucks at this point, but we're definitely working our asses off and doing everything it takes to really turn this into a successful career as far as monetary. And, we already have the happiness because we get to do what we love every night on stage,
Absolutely.
And then the third, which is actually probably the most important, is having a positive impact on people. I can't tell you how many messages on Facebook or emails I'll get with different fans saying, hey, your song really helped change my life. And that's so, in a sense, crazy and surreal to me, because when I'm sitting down writing songs, I'm not intentionally trying to create something that is going, to have a direct impact on someone. I'm telling a story that I've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about songs and art and music in general is the fact that people can take what you do and make it their own.
Right.
And that's happened with these songs, and it's really connecting. And, it's such an honor to have people care about what you do. And that's probably what determines success for me. If I can help have a positive impact on one person's life, then I've already won,
Yeah, that's just an awesome feeling. I know we're talking with Justin McCain from the band Through Fire. You're a family guy. You have a family life. What's it like, I guess, to have a family and be in a band and then be on the road a lot?
It's I would say the hardest thing about being on the road is being away from my family. But, I have the greatest support system. My wife, she's my biggest fan and supporter. My kids think it's great. So, and today with technology, we can call nonstop and FaceTime and stuff. When I was a kid, we wouldn't have had that. So, it's difficult at times when you have to miss, birthdays and some holidays. But in the end, it's absolutely worth it and rewarding when you have a family who supports what you do.
That is true. And you have to have that. That support is so huge, especially in the profession that you guys do. If you don't have that support behind the scenes, it can be very difficult on a person, and you can go down the wrong path. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of guys and gals that have done that in your business.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happens, and it's not all fun and games. It's not all easy, but we're all human, and we do the best we can, and we stick together, and we support each other. My family supports me, and I support them, and sometimes there's time away, but that's part of the game. But most of the time when I come home, my wife, after a couple of days, what are you doing? When are you going on tour again? You're messing up the laundry. You're not vacuuming right. You brought the wrong stuff home from the store. So
you got to reintegrate again. It's like that guy that goes overseas and fights the war for a year and a half, and then he has to come back and reintegrate again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of what it is.
No, it's all good though. We make it all work. So
that's awesome.
That's what matters.
Hey, you guys have been on the road a lot this past year. What about 2017? What are the plans for being on the road, some tours and all that kind of stuff?
Well, first and foremost, we're going out with our good friends Blackstone Cherry. They invited us to come on tour with them, and we're very grateful. Can't wait for that. Bunch of great dudes, killer band.
Yeah.
It's going to be an awesome tour. You can find all the dates on our website, throughfiremusic.com. I believe it starts in March and goes through April. And then we're working on a couple other big things that I wish I could tell you right now, but I can't.
I know. I get that all the time from you guys. There's something working on, but you can't tell us, and that's fine. That's the beauty of it, because then it gets the anticipation and gets us to find out more where you're at. How has the touring been last year overall for you? You said it was a great year for you, successful. I guess, what are some of the songs and some of the impact you're getting from the fans out there? What are they gravitating towards, the stuff that you're playing on the stage? What are they digging right now?
I think in general everyone's really loving the album, but what's grabbing them and pulling them in was, for the most part, our first single, Stronger. You know, they would hear that and then they'd be interested and they'd check out the band. Then they come to the live show, and I would say 90% of the time, everyone who comes up and talks to us afterwards, they were all about Breathe, which is now our single.
Right.
So that's pretty cool, because we were kind of planning for that to be the second single all along, but when you have confirmation from fans and feedback, you know, that's invaluable.
So if you had to put together your ultimate 3-band bill, Justin, all right, so it's Through Fire, and then let's say 3 other bands you're going to go out with, so it'd actually be a 4-band bill. Who would you love to play with?
Oh, man, you got to put me on the spot.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, because
there's too many. There's so many great bands, you know. There's so many bands we'd want to tour with. You know, I don't even know if I can answer it. I can't narrow it down to 3.
Okay.
We love just about every rock band that's out there, for the most part. I can't really think of one that we don't like. So, you know, to share the stage with anyone's an honor, really.
Right.
We're all out there, you know, doing what we love, and it's a big rock family. So we'll hit the road at any time and go out with anyone.
And of course, you guys go to big clubs, small clubs. You do them all, don't you? You don't discriminate in that regards.
No, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. We've done a couple shows where there's, you know, a handful of people there. We've done some shows that are bigger venues and sold out. So I mean, we're all about getting out and playing as much as possible. If we go into a market, you know, where not many people know us, great. We're there to meet new people and make new fans and shake hands, and you know, it's all part of the building process. And I think 2016 really allowed us to kind of start putting a face to the band and branding the name, and a lot of people know about us now, and it's just gradually getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're very, very grateful for that.
Well, the one thing I like to do on this show is talk to bands like yourself, because they're up-and-coming bands, and you guys have now really put your name out there. But I want to actually ask you a question maybe on helping one or two of your fellow bands out there that maybe hasn't been seen yet. So my question to you is, what band is out there that I should be listening to? Maybe an up-and-coming band that we don't know about yet.
Putting me on the spot again.
I know.
There's a couple I got. There's a couple I got in mind.
Okay.
I like to work with bands, actually.
Yeah.
I like to always kind of keep my ears, you know, and eyes open for new talent. But I mean, the Omaha scene, that's where we came up. There's a lot of good bands out there. Devil in the Details is one. They're really good. I don't know. Screaming for Silence. I don't know if you've heard them.
Yeah, I have. Yep.
They're great. You know, we just got a lot of friends out there in bands, and a lot of great bands out there. So again, it's hard to just narrow that down, and I feel bad if I leave someone out. So
I was going to say, is there a band?
We'll leave it at those two.
Yeah, there's a band. I think there's a band. I want to say they're out of Omaha. Is it called Saul? S-A-U-L? I thought they were out of there.
I believe that band is from Sioux City.
Okay, that's where
They're
they're.
not from Omaha.
Okay, close. All right, close but no cigar, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've never met those guys, but I've heard the name. So
okay, very cool.
Definitely trying to do some things.
Hey, one other question for you. I always like to ask too. And this is now you have some songs for Through Fire in that. If somebody was to cover a Through Fire song, what artist would you like to cover a song that you guys put out?
What artist would I want to cover our song?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I would say I'd like to hear the Beatles cover our song Breakout.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Why not? I don't know. You didn't say current. So
no, it can be anybody, actually. Absolutely. It could be any genre, too. I don't care. I mean, I always like to kind of curious to see where bands think they could maybe also use their song somewhere else. Since, everybody in the pop industry covers something, why not the other way around? The rock industry is covering pop. Why doesn't the pop cover the rock? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of that realm.
I'm sure it's happened, but yeah, that's a good thought. So yeah, we'll roll with that just because it sounds right. Beatles covering Breakout.
Absolutely. Well, you've kind of told us about touring in 2017, that you got something coming up. How about, maybe the works of another album in that? Where are we at on that?
Well, I constantly write, whether we're on the road or I'm at home. I'm always, singing in my phone. Someone's always looking at me weird, like, what the hell are you doing? So always writing. Wheels are always turning. So with that said, constantly working on material, but there's no schedule to hit the studio yet because, we're going to live on this album cycle for probably until the end of this year,
right,
at least. So
okay, very cool.
There's going to be no lack of material for the next album.
Now, of course, I met you a few years back, and at that time you were wearing a bunch of eye makeup. Do you still wear that on stage?
I don't know. You'll have to come see it. Won't you?
So you're gonna make me make. Well, I'll definitely be at one of the concerts. I was just curious to see if that was something that was still in your shtick or not.
Sometimes there's paint on my face. I don't know. It depends on the night. So we'll see what the night brings next time you're at the show.
Absolutely. Hey, last question for you. If folks want to get to know more about the band Through Fire and maybe pick up their music, what's the best way to do that?
Like I said, just go to our website. It's throughfiremusic.com, and then you can find us on Instagram at tfiremusic. Of course, you can search us on Facebook, just Through Fire, and Twitter, we're at tfiremusic as well. So we're kind of out there everywhere. Just look us up, and you'll find what you need to know.
Very cool. And you've been up to Minnesota, of course. What are the fans in Minnesota? Are they digging this Through Fire? I mean, obviously, in central Minnesota we are, but what's, I guess, the response of Minnesota fans about Through Fire?
I think the response is similar pretty much everywhere we go. People are digging it. If they're at the show, they like the band, so that's basically the common denominator. And, even being the opener on a lot of tours last year, we were playing a lot of shows in front of, fans that we didn't even know we had because they were coming out based off of hearing our single,
right,
and that was pretty cool. So, although we were in front of a lot of fans that were from bands that we were touring with, I guess what I'm saying is people were showing up to see Through Fire as well, which was, a great feeling. And I can't tell you how many times we were performing on stage, and we'd look out and, a lot of people in the crowd were singing the songs, and they weren't just singing the single, which, that just means really that they're looking up the band and they're studying the band and they want to know what it's all about and they like it, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to play your latest song, Breathe, off that obviously album, Breathe. Thanks so much for joining me, Justin. A lot of fun chatting with you and getting to find out what you're up to, and we'll definitely do this down the road. Sound good?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And make sure you make it up here to Minnesota on the tour, too, all right?
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely be up there at some point, and you better be there.
I will definitely be there. I'll be in the front row as long as you get me up there, okay?
I'll get you there.
Sounds good. Once again, that is Justin McCain. He's with the band Through Fire. Their latest song is called Breathe. You're hearing it right now. It's on The Dark. It's on FM 94.